the car sees no gender. That's the cool thing about our sport. It's not like you're playing football against another man where, you know, maybe there'd be some conflict there. Racing, it makes no difference if you're a female or a male. My name is Demi Chalkias, and I am the driver of the number 26 BMW E46 M3.
Today on Auto Aficionado, we're going to be talking with race car driver Demi Chalkias. How did a young female driver learn to not only succeed, but triumph in the male-dominated world of motorsports? We're going to be taking a look at her award-winning career, as well as her track-built BMW E46 M3 GT3 race car.
So cars were always such a huge thing in our household. My dad is a car fanatic, a car collector himself, and race car driver as well. So racing and cars were always just something that was in our household. It was a common sport that was brought up. I've been going to the racetrack since I was very little. My mom's been changing my diaper on corner 2 when I was little, so I grew up here.
Demi grew up in the outskirts of a small town with no internet or cable. But she would ride dirt bikes and ATVs and practice precision driving exercises after school. She loved anything with an engine. But her first sport was something entirely different. At 16, she was a top-performing triathlete. But while she was training for a half Ironman and world qualifiers, Demi suffered a severe hip injury that forced her into early retirement. What at the time seemed like a devastating setback ended up being a blessing in disguise, because this is when Demi got serious about motorsports.
I had a passion for cars, but I was a triathlete originally. After a hip injury that ended my triathlon career, I was forced to stop my sport and go into rehab and recovery from that. And through that sport, you know, you're so used to training 4 or 5 times a day, and to cut cold turkey, your mind's like, I need something competitive, I need to do something. So I figured, you know what, why don't I put myself into go-karting? At this time, my dad was instructing at the racetrack, and we were there every weekend. So I said, while he's doing that, I'll go-kart, and started volunteering with the clubs that he was instructing at, and eventually just moved my way into racing.
A few years later, on her way to an undergrad degree, Demi made the bold choice to leave med school and pursue a career in professional motorsports. She saved up enough to buy a BMW E36, and on her very first race, made podium with a P2 finish after an impressive fight for first.
My E36 race car that I started off racing with, that's the one that I did all of my trial and error on. So it's been a cool learning process for sure. That one, I've actually stripped the engine down. I've pulled that engine, pulled the head off. I've done everything on that one. So I was lucky enough to find an already prepped E36 to buy. So it was within my price range. At this point, I had actually just dropped out of university to pursue motorsports. I didn't really have the money or the resources, like a trailer and a truck and everything, to kind of get that done at the time. So I was able to find him on Kijiji and went there, negotiated the deal with the guy, and I said, please, I'm just a young kid trying to get into racing, like try to hustle a deal with him, and threw a spare engine in there. I got his helmet. It was awesome. Yeah, we put together a pretty nice deal with the guy. His name's Robert Lauda, so thank you, Robert. But yeah, it was that's what kickstarted my whole career. Having a family-run race team, aka my dad and I for the most part, it's interesting. These are memories that I will never forget. It's something that I always take with me, either it be celebrating wins and just seeing my dad and my family cheering for me at pit wall, and to the butting heads a little bit. It's not an easy sport, period. You know what I mean? And then having all of the demands and everything to run a team together, it can be hard, but I think that it just makes your relationship stronger because you know that you guys can get through anything together. And we rely on each other. I mean, my dad and I, like, we have each other's backs because he's in there with his race cars, instructing and coaching and doing some racing himself. So we understand each other's worlds, and we help each other, and it's been really cool to run a team as a family.
Anyways, good race. Good job. Brother.
So currently right now I'm racing an E46 M3. His name is Chico. All of my cars have names. He's been an awesome race car for me. A lot of highs and lows. S54 engines are, they're tricky. When they're running well, they're fantastic, and when they're not, it's it's tough to swallow, but he's been a great race car for me. I have the evil eye on my race car. I have it everywhere, actually. I have it on my chain. It's something that, yeah, for sure, us Greeks, we live and breathe by that. It's all over our homes, and it's just something that gives me a little bit of reassurance that I have that at the racetrack. It's a fantastic place, don't get me wrong. Everybody is family, and it's nice, but when you're on the track, you are competitors, and there are people that don't wish well for you, and sometimes I feel like you get the evil eye just by dirty looks at my car. So every night my car goes back into the trailer. I don't want anybody looking at him. I want to just keep him as safe as possible. So it's funny. A lot of people ask me about the evil eyes on my car. I'm currently racing in the Pirelli GT3 Sprint category. I've taken home the championship in this category before. I also took home the championship in the GT4 class. So essentially how it works with our racing is there's different classes based off times that you're pulling on the racetrack. So there's GT5 all the way up to GT1. So it just depends on what you and your car are capable of doing and what bracket you fall into. And so right now I'm sitting at the GT3 bracket. Had I want to invest a little bit more money into the car to make it a bit faster, I could bump up the two categories, but my plans for racing are going a bit above and beyond just regional racing. So I'm gonna keep the car as is. It's a great GT3 car. It's a championship winning car. It's a front running car. It's awesome in this category. So next year I do plan on racing for a team. And so I won't have to manage my own car, which would be nice, but currently I'm in GT3 sprints. I don't think people understand how much power you have inside of you until you're actually testing your limits physically and mentally to the limits that racing brings out of you. There's an inner beast in all of us, and until you're doing something that kind of pushes you to that limit, you don't know what you're capable of doing. And once you get a taste of it, you're like, wow, this is incredible. I mean, aside from the adrenaline, because that's just like a whole other topic, like you're driving and you're cool, calm, and collected, but you finish that race, you see the checkered, and it's just a wave of like emotion, like, whoa, like that was wicked. But there's just this inner animal in all of us, and I believe that racing brings out mine, and it's just such a cool feeling, and it's something that makes you want to better yourself as a person, as an athlete, as a human being. And so that's what I really appreciate about racing, is what it brings out of me.
Today, Demi's reputation as a race car driver continues to grow internationally. She's a brand ambassador for several prominent companies, and she also helps to inspire young girls not only to enter what is traditionally a male-dominated sport, but also to gain confidence to be themselves.
If you have a burning desire to get into racing, don't feel like just because you're not backed by, a super wealthy family or a massive budget or anything like that, that it's not doable. I was serving tables and I made it happen, and it's so possible. And leaving school, if that's not what you feel like you want to do, I think schooling is so important if there's an end goal to it, but if you feel like you want to be doing something else, pursue it, but work relentlessly to make it happen. Hard work, resiliency, determination, just get the job done. Chase your dreams, live boldly, be fearless, all that cliche stuff.
For more episodes of Auto Aficionado, make sure to like and subscribe, and let us know what you think in the comments. Until next time, stay tuned.